Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Smash that subscribe button. We can't thank you enough for helping this channel grow. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everyone's favorite TikTok, and also check us out on Reddit and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We got some Winnipeg Jets talk. Training camp has started. We got CFL talk, a little bit of NFL talk, but let's start off with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are on a bye week, so probably a little less Bomber talk this week. But going into the bye, man, it's kind of, coming off the game that they just played and coming into a big game against Toronto. If you're Mike O'Shea or if you're just the head coach of the Bombers, what do you tell this team going into the bye?
I don't necessarily think he has to say a lot because it's a veteran team. They know what they need to do. They know what they can do when they play at their fullest. So I think you got to just look at that. But I'm going to tell them at this point, you know what? We got to buy. It's late in the game. You're veterans. You're older guys. Go get refreshed. Take that break. Get away from football for a week. Don't even think about it. Then come back next week. Come back focused and ready to go. Because like you said, they got two big games coming up. Now, we don't know what the Argos are going to do so far with their roster, full roster or not, or play them for a bit. But the game against BC is the big one, no matter what happens against Toronto, because that'll be the game for the tiebreaker and for third. So nothing we can do to change the past, but let's make sure we put in the work so that our future games go the way we want.
Yeah, this is a veteran-laden team on both sides of the ball. And you know what? I might not say anything to them. Business as usual. Go take whatever the buy was, how many years ago, consistently, year to year, week to week, has it's been for the past 3-4 years, minus COVID year. Just do that. Do that. Find your way. And then when you come back, then you'll look at tape. Like you said, turn your iPads in if they have those. Don't look at game tape. Seriously, take the week off. Be safe. Have fun. Go be with family. Ground yourself. And then, don't ask to see their pictures on your iPhone like Babcock. But still, you know what I'm saying? Just do as little football work as possible this week, heal up, and then come back strong for a good week of work because it's a big game.
Yeah, come back pissed, man, because like you say, they know what they need to do, and they did it last year with last year they had first basically wrapped up too, and then they had the buys late as well. We could talk about their schedule and complain about the schedule. I don't know how you cannot even out these buys throughout the season. You got three of them. Like Toronto had theirs all early, Winnipeg had theirs late. It doesn't make sense to me, but figure out a way how to use these all. But yeah, just take a break.
Are they just putting these team names and dates into an Excel sheet and seeing what the F happens? Because this is ridiculous. Andrew Harris is visiting Winnipeg for the first time. The Grey Cup rematch is happening in weeks, 16?
Yeah.
Both of them have clinched playoffs. Toronto has the East. It's ridiculous. Can they just think for a second about the fans and the ratings and TV if they want to be successful? It makes no sense.
Well, and then look at it. This game is sold out in Winnipeg. So who knows what it could have done in Toronto? Maybe this is the game that Toronto fans really wanted to see. Two of the best teams go at it in the league in Toronto, and maybe that would have sold out or brought it to close to capacity or something in BMO Field. But unfortunately, we don't get that shot because, the schedule.
They should have started the season with the Grey Cup rematch.
Yeah.
Winnipeggers would have traveled to Toronto. Toronto would have unveiled their banner. They would have gotten their rings. It would have been crazy, and it would have given you the momentum going forward to really have a good environment at BMO Field. But whatever. I don't know. It's a CFL's fault strictly, or if it's also BMO Field scheduling and Toronto and whatever Maple Leaf Sports not giving a darn about the Argos. I don't know. But
yeah, it's hard to say for sure. We don't know the insides and outs of everything there, but yeah, it's like the NFL, right? The Super Bowl champions always starting off the season, basically. Not a rematch, but they're starting off the season. The CFL can easily do a rematch, though.
Missed opportunity. So let's talk about the Bombers a little bit more. Will the Bombers be hosting the West Final? How do you see the rest of the season playing out? You go first.
I still believe they will. Again, they've been good after the bye. So, coming up against a Toronto team, they've always, when they look bad before the bye, they look good before or after the bye. Then they got a tough match against BC. And I think they'll end up beating Toronto at least here just because Toronto's kind of got things wrapped up. And then the BC game will be the game. Unfortunately, the Bombers don't always have success in BC plays or traveling out west. So that's the tough part for me. But schedule-wise, they're pretty similar. They both got the Elks and the Stamps. The BC, the only difference one is Toronto for Winnipeg and the Ticats. And then BC also has Saskatchewan because they have 5 games left because they're done their buys. So I still see Winnipeg squeaking this out, but again, that game in BC will be the decider, obviously.
Oh, for sure. And you know what the issues this year, other than playing BC, is losing against losing teams.
Yeah.
Like, and when they get those revenge games, they get them hard. They got BC good, they got Saskatchewan good. So hopefully there's still some revenge left from the Grey Cup last year. But I think they still will win the West. I think they'll take first. I think they will take this game and BC. And I think that almost clinches home field if they win both, especially if BC loses this week to Edmonton.
Edmonton, not an easy game for BC. So
can't wait to watch that game. So yeah, it might be again be about roster management for O'Shea, like it has been the past couple of years going to last few seasons. Is your boy Calero still the Western nominee for MOP?
I mean, unless you're looking at Oliveira or one of the Bomber receivers, I'm trying to think of any other quarterback. But you know, Trey Ford probably hasn't played enough games. As dynamic as he's been, Vernon Adams has been way too up and down for me, for him to be there. Jake Mayer, no. Dolegala, no. I can't think of anyone else besides Oliveira that could take it away from him right now.
You think Trey Ford can be CFL MOP?
I don't think he'll have played enough. It's just like Rourke from last year, right? Rourke played half the season. You know, I guess Ford is coming in at the end at least, so you're kind of recognizing at the end play, but I don't think it's enough.
If Edmonton makes the playoffs, I think yeah, for sure. Rourke probably would have been
Adams? Rourke
in the conversation if he didn't have to go against Caleros toe to toe.
Yeah,
like he probably would have won the West against anybody else. So yeah, tough. Who is the best receiving duo in the CFL? Why? Oh man. Of course, people are going to say I'm a homer, but I have to go with Sean and Dembski. And I'm not going to go with the easy metrics. You know, I can say combined yards, of course, combined catches. Yep, they got that. But you got to go a little deeper. Their receiver efficiency, which is the number of receiving yards a player makes on every yard thrown to them. Sean is at 122. Dembski's at 144. They're two of the best receivers in the top 10 in regards to efficiency. It doesn't really come close. You look at their combined 30-yard plus plays, they have 20, more than any other duo. So they also make big plays. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Sean and Dembski.
Yeah, there's definitely some good ones out there. I got to agree with you on those. For basically everything you've said, plus the touchdowns. They're both at 16 total, so 10 for I believe Sean, and then 6 for Dembski. Sorry. So yeah, they're all leading the league in that. I mean, BC's got some good ones with Hollins and Hatcher. Saskatchewan have a good trio with Jones, Bain, and Emulus. But if you're going duo, you definitely got to give this to the Bombers.
And I think they also lead the league in second down conversion catches if you combine, pardon me, Dalton, Sean, and Dembski. A little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against them. And yeah, make a case, argue against them, put it in the comments, let us know what you think. But right now, it's got to be Sean and Dembski.
And I really tried hard not to be a homer. I really tried hard. And maybe if what's his name, Julian Grant in Montreal didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, maybe him and Austin would have been just up there as well, because Austin's amazing.
Yeah, and he's right up there too, right? Isn't he second in yards? Yeah. So, and he's played 2 games less than Sean. So his average is also better than Sean right now. But yeah, you know, so, but yeah.
And he's been getting really heavy targets since Julian Grant has. But there's also the other receiver in Montreal. I forget his name, and he's just above Grant. Shoot. That's okay. Too many names, too many stats.
Not pulling up. Sneed?
There it is. Thank you. He's really come in the past few weeks when Julian Grant has been injured. Tyler Sneed, I believe.
It's funny not to see, not too many Toronto receivers for how prolific their offense has been. I mean, there's a few, but there's just not a bunch in the top 10 kind of thing. So, or even one really. So
they're spread out there.
But I guess Gurley has been hurt a little bit this season too. So hasn't had that opportunity to put up the stats.
And still, they're 11-1.
Yeah. That East Division, though, come on.
Still, they're
11-1. I guess I can't say anything. The Bombers have lost to 2 teams in that division.
You see, who is trending and who is drifting in the CFL? You want to go first with trending?
Yeah, I'm going to say Hamilton, man. They've turned it around. Their offense looks competent. Scott Milanovich has done a good job with Powell there, and the offense has started to move the ball. And they've won a bunch of games. They've won some big games too. One against Winnipeg, BC. Right now they're tied with Montreal for second. They could end up still hosting a playoff game the way they started the season. That was pretty surprising, but hey,
Yeah.
it's the CFL. But yeah, I see them going upwards.
James Butler must be the Hamilton nominee for MOP at this point.
Oh, probably yeah. Yeah.
I guess so. I'm going to go with
Or
Captain
Tim White, I guess. Sorry to interrupt. Tim White's had a pretty good season there.
He has.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Captain Canuck, Trey Ford. Dude, his box office. He's trending hard. 4 of the last 5 they've won. Since taking over, he has been 81 of 117 for 1163 yards, 7 touchdowns. And he's rushed 47 times for 471 yards. That's like 10 yards a carry and 3 touchdowns. And of course, he helped them snap that 22-game losing streak at home.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, for trending, I'm gonna go with Trey Ford, and I might as well throw in that whole Edmonton Elk running game because Brown has been going nuts as well. Like, wow, they're scary. Who would you rather face in the playoffs right now, Edmonton or BC?
Probably gonna lean BC just because I think the Bombers may have trouble with Trey Ford and Kevin Brown in that running game.
You would rather face BC?
Yeah,
I get you. Yeah. For sure. They had trouble with him, and now they're a lot more solid. So drifting. Who do you got for drifting?
I'm going to go with Saskatchewan, and we're mainly Craig Dickinson and his coaching. Over the last few weeks, or a couple weeks actually, in Saskatchewan, after beating BC and then beating Winnipeg on Labor Day. They've kind of just went straight downhill after getting blown out in the Banjo Bowl, losing to the Elks last week after blowing a fourth quarter lead, and a big game this week against the Redblacks, who have lost a lot of games, but are dangerous too at the same time. So I'm going to go Craig Dickinson, and we'll see if he can right that ship in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Ottawa's definitely drifting. when you lose your kicker,
yeah,
and he's probably the best and most consistent player on your team. So you can throw them in drifting. And also, like, Matthew Betts has kind of been sliding.
Yeah.
After those first 6 games, he had 10 sacks in the first 6 games, and now he has 2 in the last 7. 12 sacks is still nothing to laugh at. He's still very much in the running for Canadian MOP. Oliveira and Dembski aside. Again, I'm being a homer. Whatever. Shut up, Ray. But he's still an all-star and still one of the best Canadians in the game. He's just been drifting for the past couple months. I'm sure he's still been a factor on the D-line, still pressuring the quarterback, but those sack numbers have just dropped. And you can say the same kind of for Willie Jefferson and the Bombers.
Yeah.
So it's not an attack or anything like that. I'm just playing this drift game.
Well, and considering how well Betts started, you're thinking, oh my God, he's going to break some records or something or get closed. Yeah. So it's quite the drop off.
And if he finishes strong, so they've played how many games now?
13.
If he has like 2 sacks a game for the next 5 games, he could still break a record. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I'm just saying at the pace that he was at a certain point in the season, he could do it.
Yep. Totally agree.
Speaking of Ottawa, will Bobby Dyce keep his job, and should Bobby Dyce keep his job? You can go first.
He won't, but I think he actually should keep his job. And a part of it is going to probably determine what happens with Sean Burke. If Burke, the GM, ends up losing his job, then I see there's probably no chance of Dyce staying, because the new GM would probably bring in his own guys and all that stuff. If Burke gets to stick around, I see Dyce keeping it. And one of the reasons is they've lost a lot of close 1-score games. They've been in a lot of games. It's not like they're getting blown out of the water. The one problem I have is, though, when they're losing those games, it's usually a mistake, and it's kind of a coaching mistake, albeit if it's Dyce's mistake or Kahari or Baron Miles on D. It just hasn't been good. They haven't set up their players in decent enough position to win these games late. So, yeah, I hope he's back. I think he deserves another chance, but we'll see.
Yeah, you talk about these late game mistakes. Let's go back to 2017. An article in the Winnipeg Sun by Ted Wyman. Questionable decisions continue to haunt Bombers coach Mike O'Shea.
Yeah.
And it for sure, as a rookie coach, he was making mistakes, but that's progression that has to happen. Yeah. I truly believe Bobby Dyce is a quality CFL head coach. He's seen a lot. He's seen almost all of it. He has good relationships in the CIS, CIAU, U Sports, whatever they call it. He's great with players. You can see how he motivates players. He made a sad sack team, nothing personal against the players last year, and made them competitive at the end of the year. Like they had a lot of heart and they're messing with a lot of good teams. So I really think he's a good coach and he should stay. Will he? I don't think so. I don't trust the GM, even if he is kept on, to believe in the process. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd be pretty disappointed if the GM sticks and he fires Bobby Dyce in this situation, because then at that point, then you got a pretty bad GM anyways, and I don't know why you're keeping him. And that would be another mistake by Ottawa at that point.
But they're going to hear it from the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are saying, Bobby, a lot of people are saying, he's making these stupid mistakes. He should be fired. He's not a real head coach. Mike O'Shea also made these mistakes early in his career.
And a lot of people were saying the same thing about O'Shea. It's like, it's time. He's still making these mistakes. He's not getting anywhere. We're still the same bad team. Yep. So, and look what happens, right? Exactly. So I think you got to stay the course at least for another year with Dyce and see what happens. Again, they're close games. They're not getting killed.
Yeah.
They beat the Bombers too. So, and hey, you did. Look out, BC. I don't think it's going to be an easy one. Or Saskatchewan. I don't think it's going to be an easy one for Saskatchewan.
Absolutely. And it's in Ottawa?
Not Ottawa, yeah. Ooh. Which is probably bad for Ottawa.
We'll get to those.
They're better on the road usually.
We'll get to those predictions for quick and dirty in a bit, but let's go to critical questions for each team. You go start in the West. Yes.
Let's start with Winnipeg. On the bye week, can they bounce back after the bye? And we talked about it a little bit earlier, what O'Shea should say, what's going to happen, and how they're going to end up with BC in this. So I'm thinking, yes, they are going to bounce back. They're going to come out and play lights out next week and set up a good tilt against BC the week after.
Yeah, if I'm to look back at what they've done this year, definitely they'll bounce back and they'll be angry. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll go with Montreal. Can the Alouettes get the running game going? They need a running game. Like they are bottom in the league and bottom 4, and they weren't much better last year. They don't have Stanback. They have Fletcher in there. Not that this thing is not a good back, but their offensive line also has not been playing well. So we'll see. But can they get the running game going?
Yeah. Well, they're coming out to the easy part of their schedule again, right? So maybe they can. They're playing teams with no wins, basically. So
we'll see.
BC, big chance coming up this weekend to tie Winnipeg for first. I'm going to go with, can they shut out the Elks a third time? I'm going to say no this time. Pretty easy no. I can't see that. I'd be shocked if the Elks got shut out for a third time with Trey Ford this time at quarterback. But it'll be a tough matchup for BC. Won't be an easy one the way the Elks have been playing. So it should be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, if they shut him out again, someone's cheating.
Especially the way the BC defense has played lately.
Yeah, they haven't been
against Ottawa last week. They haven't been good. So if they somehow come back and shut out Edmonton again, and be like, wow.
Yeah, it's like what was that? The Houston Astros.
Yeah,
there we go. See, we talk baseball. We talk baseball.
That's enough baseball.
Okay, let's go back to Hamilton. Will they ride a wave of momentum into Toronto and surprise the Argos? Oh, I'll leave that for quick and dirty for the next segment. They just won a huge game against Winnipeg, though, and it's clear they have a formula. If they outplay, out-physical the other team, they can have a chance to win, especially at the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, will they ride that Winnipeg win to another one against Toronto?
Yeah, you just got to gel at the right time in the CFL, right? Doesn't matter how you start, how you finish. Saskatchewan.
Okay, sorry. I know you're thinking it.
Yeah. No.
Don't say it.
Now you almost make me want to say it.
Okay. No, Bomber fans, no, don't say it.
All right, I won't say it. It's over. It's a pass.
Thanks, brother.
Saskatchewan, they are reeling, but they get the Red Blacks. Can they stop the bleeding? I guess I'll do like you here and leave this for the quick and dirty predictions before I really answer that question. But Saskatchewan needs this game. You got Calgary and Edmonton breathing down your neck. They can come within a game of you if you can't pull this game off. So it's going to be a big one for Saskatchewan.
Yeah. I'm not cheering for them.
No.
Ottawa, will the fight, speaking of at the Red Blacks practice, bring the team together, or will it be the final straw that maybe might break Bobby Dyce's back? I know the answer that Bobby Dyce is hoping for. He hopes it brings them together. And I'm cheering for them too. Bobby Dyce is a Winnipegger. I said this since day one. I've been a fan. Kahari Jones is on the staff. Alex Suber's on the staff. So we'll see if that intensity and attitude against Saskatchewan is there.
Yeah, this could make or break. I know they got 4 games left or whatever, and they could end up losing them. But if they come out and play hard in those games, it might show that, hey, Bobby Dyce is the right guy. So let's try out one more year, right? So
I agree.
Hopefully. Yeah. Calgary. Which Calgary team will we see after the bye? And can they put in 60 minutes? This has been a heckle and what is it? Heckle and Jide? No,
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Or hide that Jekyll.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds dirty.
Oh, geez. And they win one game, lose the next one, blow fourth quarter lead. So we'll see. They have a bye week to fix things up. It's a big stretch run here, and we'll see if they can get it done. I don't think they'll get it right though.
Let's see. Toronto. I'm not even talking about the game. Can Pinball Clemens be put in the CFL as a Hall of Famer, as a player and a builder? Because he just got an extension as a general manager. They just won the Grey Cup under his watch. Wasn't he president before?
Yeah.
And again, they won a Grey Cup with Damon Allen, I think. He's been a blessing to the organization. It looks like they're turning around in the crowd. Slowly, they're getting to 17,000, maybe 20,000 coming near the playoffs. The Argos are 7-0 in Grey Cups since Pinball arrived in Toronto.
We need to get rid of that guy.
Hall of Fame. I know. Yeah. How many of those are in
a good way? In a good way.
Yeah, but yeah, he's amazing. So good for the league. So good for Toronto. I really hope he sees a full turnaround of getting full crowds, or like 25,000 in Toronto. Come on, Toronto. Support the team in pinball.
That would be awesome if they can get there. Get to 20,000 and you celebrate 25. Yeah, pop some champagne, man. That'd be great.
Heck yeah.
Edmonton. Can they make it? Will they make the playoffs? Can they make a final push? I think they'll make it interesting. In the end, I don't believe they will make it, but I think they'll make it the last few weeks of the season exciting and entertaining.
Yeah, they got to start this week.
Well, and plus they got games against Winnipeg and BC, so they can end up being spoilers in a way, right? So
yeah, if they beat BC, it'll make it easier for Winnipeg to take it easy on them. If Winnipeg already has a spot as well, more motivation. Not that they're actually going to think of that.
No, yeah, they're going all out to win no matter what, right? But they got some tough ones. They do have BC, Toronto, and Winnipeg in the last 4 weeks of the season. And they got the Owls in there as well, but that's a tough schedule.
We'll see who's playing, who's on the field against them.
Yeah. Hey, and if Trey Ford can win those games, then yeah, maybe you gotta discuss him for MOP.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize who they were playing though. That's a gauntlet.
Quick and dirty predictions: Riders versus Red Blacks. I have this as an upset special. I believe that fight in training camp in practice might benefit the team. I hope so. I believe Bobby Dyce can rally the troops. The Riders are on the 2-game losing streak, and they haven't won a road game since week 3. I'll go Red Blacks.
Yeah, I'm going Red Blacks too. Goes back to answer my question about Saskatchewan. They're not going to stop the bleeding this week. And they've lost Jamal Morrow, Anthony Lanier for this game as well. So those are tough losses. I know Ottawa, Lewis Ward is out. I think he's done for the season, right? So that could be interesting because they settle for a lot of field goals with that guy. So we'll see what they do with the new guy. But I do think Ottawa gets the job done.
Lions, Elks, who you got?
I'm going to take the Elks, man. They finally get their revenge from being shut out twice this season by the Lions, and I think they'll come out and beat them, and BC will have a hard time stopping that running game.
I agree. Another upset for me. The Elks are feeling it. BC looked a little suspect last week, especially against the running game the past 3 out of 4 weeks, I think. So hopefully Edmonton will wear down that BCD with that running game, eat the clock up at home on Commonwealth, but not real grass. It's not real grass there anymore.
No.
Owls and Stamps. I'm going to go with the Stamps on this one. This one was hard for me to pick. This was a tough one of the week. Even though they are horrible at home, I'll take the slight underdogs. Calgary is 2-6 at home, but Montreal has lost 11 of the last 12 in Calgary. So what do I do? Calgary, I think, in a very messy game.
I'm not going to change my mind. Even with that stat, I'm going to go with the Owls. They're 6-0 against losing teams, 0-7 against winning teams. I think that trend continues. They stop their losing streak from losing against the Bombers, Argos, and BC. So they're going to basically kill Calgary's chances this weekend.
Ticats and Argos, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Argos. Obviously, if they rest guys, it'd be a different story for me, but I still think they're good enough that they'll come up and play good enough if they're playing their regulars to beat the Ticats, even though the Ticats are playing way better.
I agree with you. I think the game will definitely be closer, a lot closer than
Yeah.
Labor Day was. Was it like 48 something,
Yeah, it
21?
wasn't even close.
But yeah, Hamilton will give him a hell of a fight. They are riding that high, like we said, against the Bombers. James Butler, just feed that guy all day, see what happens. And like you said, Tim White, shout out to Scott Milanovic, yeah,
Yeah.
for getting Powell going. He's trending. Talk about trending. He's trending in the right direction, like you said. So wow, I would be nice to see the Ticats win, but I think yeah, Argos win.
It's good for the league to see these young guys step it up, and show that they can play some football. You know, Powell, even Dolgala, and even Crum in Ottawa.
Sure,
Who hasn't had success in the win column, but and Trey Ford too, obviously include him. But it's good to see these guys be able to play this way because it bodes well for the future, and hopefully these guys can develop and get better and better.
yeah, totally. Put your comments about predictions in the comment section below. I hate saying that. It's the worst. Winnipeg
Just put them
Jets.
somewhere.
Yeah, no, put them in the comment section because we need those comments. Winnipeg Jets talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, or the field with a custom airbrushed helmet or a goalie mask. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431. Tell them Ray and Benny sent you. They got some cool gear on their
Yeah,
Facebook.
some good stuff. Cool bomber helmet or a hat, cowboy
Yeah,
hat. Yeah,
I might
check
just
that
get
one
a
out.
helmet to wear on every day and just get them to airbrush that just to make it look cool. Training camp has started with the Winnipeg Jets. It was good to hear earlier Shifley say that he told the team that he's open to staying.
Yeah.
How much weight you want to put on that, I don't know, but it was just good to hear it, I think.
Yeah, same with Hellebuck. Says he's not closing any doors either, including potentially signing a long-term extension in Winnipeg. Um, again, right? Could be just speak. We'll see what happens. I think a lot of it will factor into how the Jets start off this season and what they see from this team, right? Especially for Hellebuck. If they're doing well and he sees them playing well and he's not asked to stop 40 shots to win games, he might see it as a bright future for them.
We'll see. Let's talk about those projected lineups at training camp. And of course, Cole Perfetti getting first shot at the 2C position. Will he end up as 2C? Do you have any projections or thoughts on those lineups?
It doesn't look like there's much room for movement or any young guys or new guys to come into this lineup. But I do like that Cole Perfetti is getting that shot at second line center first and not that Gabe Velarde was. It shows some trust that they've kind of grown in Perfetti over the last couple of years, that they're going to give him this opportunity and see if he can run with it. Will he end up taking it? I think that a lot of it will determine how he's come in through the offseason. Is he a bit bigger? Is he a bit tougher? Can he handle playing those minutes and against bigger probably players than him as well, right? He's shown he can play center with the Moose and all that, but it's going to be a tough grind for him. So hopefully he can grab a hold of that and take it.
Yeah, when they traded for Gabe Velarde, everyone was seeing him as a next wheeler. So I don't think it was in anyone's immediate plans for him to play 2C. So it kind of makes sense and no surprise at all that Perfetti's getting that shot. And also that's my concern as well. He said he got a new trainer, I think, in the offseason to build some muscle, build some strength. But can he go toe to toe with guys like Draisaitl, Ryan Johansson, Nazem Kadri, Pierre-Luc Dubois, even Wyatt Johnson in Dallas? Those are some prime guys. He was in Calder conversations last year, I believe. So that's my major concern. Can he go toe to toe with those guys? Because those are the 2Cs that are prime. They can be 1C on a lot of other teams.
Yeah, it's a good test, but he's got to get there somehow, right? And they got to see what he can do. So it's a good opportunity to see what he can do early in this season. And if it doesn't work out, you move to other options. But he's got to grow in that position as well.
See, I don't think he got to get there as a 2C. If he's not a good 2C, I think he'll do fine on the wing. I don't
he
think
will, but the Jets
to be
really.
There. I think they have options at center where if he doesn't fit physically or he can't do it the whole season because he gets injured, they at least have some versatility on the line where someone can fill that 2C either full time for the rest of the year if he's hurt long term or if he's not progressing or if it's just not working out.
Yeah, but the only thing is you kind of want him to take that because if Shifley ends up leaving at some point, you got no 1C. right? So you need a guy to be able to step up in that 1C, and hopefully it is Perfetti. And I mean, that's what he was drafted for.
I'm not even thinking of him as a 1C at all in the next few
No,
years. So if
no,
Shifley
but
even leaves next year and he gets played a whole year as 2C, I wouldn't see him as a viable.
yeah,
You'd
what are
have to
your
go out and get a 1C.
well, yeah, you do, but yeah, your options are slim because not a lot of people are trading 1Cs for nothing. So
No, no. But
so
yeah,
you need him.
I
Hopefully he
definitely
plays
not
well.
see him as a 1C in the next, no matter what
Wow.
happens. That would be
Yeah, I mean,
that would be a reach.
Shifley started off small, kind of Bambi legged, right? Like he was called back when he first started off. So maybe Perfetti can grow into it as well. We'll see.
But he's not growing it. He's not growing in size anymore.
No, but
he's a
in body
smaller
weight
stature center
and muscle, like kind of like Shifley was. Shifley was fairly scrawny as well when he first started. I know Perfetti seems a little bit smaller and everything than Shifley was, but they're almost at the same thing. It's just Perfetti's got to play a full season.
Not close to the same thing. Shifley, he will never get to the size of Shifley. That's two different things.
Well, I'm not
saying two totally different players. The size while getting bigger.
We're talking about a 1C, a guy getting to 1C. We're not talking, hey, he has to be Shifley, the same size, the same weight, and everything like that. We're talking for him to get enough weight and size that he can play 1C and hopefully do as well as Shifley did as he grew into that position.
No, I don't see him being a 1C in this league, man.
Well, I mean, we'll find out soon enough, right?
Yeah. I hope he's a 2C. I hope he's the 2C prayers, but I don't know about 1C in the future. Is there an opportunity here for young guys to crack the lineup? Other than injuries, I don't think so. I don't know how much deeper I can go into that. Like
I don't think so either.
Set, even in the bottom six, there's no room for jiggle there for any young guys, I don't think.
No, and your guys that are probably on the bubble, like for being press box guys, are what? Axel Johnson, Fialbi, David Gustafson, Jansen, Harkins, and Toninato, maybe. Even though guys like Nikita Chibrikov look good in the Young Stars tourney, maybe he sets himself up to be a guy I've thought of down the line to be called up at some point due to injuries or anything like that. The one thing I have, even with this lineup right now, that top six, again, with injuries, maybe you can slot in IFL, Appleton kind of thing, but it takes a pretty big hit again if that top six gets hurt.
Didn't Nemesnikov play top 6 minutes last year at the end of the season?
I feel like because of injury, he was all over the place. Like this one has him set up as fourth line. I've seen other ones where he's been third line as well. So we'll see. But yeah, hopefully the Jets can stay fairly healthy.
Is Ville Heinola moose bound no matter what he does? How do you see this ending?
Yeah, I think he is. I mean, you already got your 6D, right? We all know who they are. Plus, then you got Stanley, Kopobianco, and Chisholm, who are going to basically fight for maybe 2 spots, and one of them is going to get sent down on waivers. So I think Heinola is the odd man out no matter what. He can maybe come and light it up. I mean, maybe if he lights it up, then the Jets look at trading someone, but I think his chances are slim. I think he's going to be disgruntled, and at some point, he's probably asking for a trade.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. Really, that's what the word is. He's been paired with Schmidt, so maybe that's a good sign that he's actually getting a chance to play with a veteran. You know me, I'm not on his bandwagon. So they got a year to be able to send him down without getting hurt. So they'll probably send him down. Do you still believe in this dude?
I still believe in him. I'd like to see him get him a shot, but with the way the Jets are set up right now, I don't think he's getting in there anytime soon. But I would like to see him ahead of maybe Stanley and freaking Kopobianco. I don't know enough about Chisholm in the NHL, but I'd like to see him get a shot too. But you know, you just signed Stanley for $1 million, right? I know it's a 1 year, it's a one-way contract, so you could potentially lose him on waivers, anyways. But you know, at some point, you got to give these young guys a chance.
Yeah, I don't think
draft and development.
Even if they trade Heinola or let him go, I don't think he's making an NHL squad anywhere for long term. I don't think.
Like, look at that D. The only one on that D is Josh Morrissey that was drafted, right? By the Jets.
Right.
Oh, and Sandberg. Sorry, 2 out of the 6. So you want to see those guys that you're drafting kind of make it at some point, right?
How many missed other than what's like Kovacevic last year? Over the years, how many draft and developed defensemen have the Jets lost that have hurt?
I mean, Trouba, right? That's a pretty.
He wanted to leave.
He wanted to leave, but that's a big one.
That's not like the situation of the waiver thing where they lost.
No, and really it's Kovacic. I mean, you've lost a few. I can't name any off the top of my head that are notable. So
no.
But if you're a draft and develop team and only 2 out of the 6 are actually from your draft, you're struggling. Even the forwards, I think it's only 6 out of the 12.
Yeah, they haven't been drafting very well on defensemen.
No.
That's what happens when you reach so early for Stanley.
Exactly. And you make a trade for it too.
But then you get guys like Sandberg.
Yeah. Yeah. Hits and misses in those drafts, man.
Jets fans, put your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, Fahrenheit Airbrushing, for your support. NFL talk. After 2 weeks, who are your top 3 teams?
Niners, Dolphins, and Cowboys. And probably I'd put the Cowboys right now at the top of that list. They've just kind of been dominating in their first 2 weeks. For me, the Eagles, who are also 2-0, have kind of struggled in their 2 games and haven't looked like the dominant team from last year. And KC, again, 1-1 for them, losing to Detroit and kind of barely beating the Jags this weekend. So I'm going to go with those 3 teams as my top 3 right now.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City because of defending champs, and they have Mahomes and they have Chris Jones back now. Cowboys are in there. That defense is crazy, but they just lost Diggs.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that impacts them. They have the Cardinals and they have the Pats. So they might not know until they play the 49ers actually on October 8th to see how much of a loss that is. But I'll still have the Cowboys in there. And I'm going to still stick with the Eagles as well. Super Bowl finalists. Jalen Hurts. They still have that solid rushing game. They'll have a passing game eventually when A.J. Brown calms down. He's not yelling at people on the sideline. And that defense is pretty solid still. And they have not been playing well, and they're still 2-0. So for me, they have to still be in my top 3. NFL fans, who are your in top 3 after week 2? Justin Fields comments, and he walks it back. How will this situation end? Man, you got to love that public hug at practice between him and that OC. Luke
hey, there's the camera. Let's hug.
Exactly. There it is. I get that he made those comments, and you definitely have to walk him back. Yeah. Now, unless you're for sure going to be released or traded, you're still the quarterback and leader of that team. So he has to bite that bullet, no matter how true it is that the coaching staff around him is not very good. You can't do that as leader of the team. You don't want to be dividing the locker room like that at this early point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, things are already going bad. This is just going to make things worse. You can't even say those comments in the first place. Once you start criticizing coaching out in public like that, it's almost a death knell. It's not going to end well for these guys. They're going to be a terrible team, probably going to clean house. Justin Fields is probably going to be gone out of Chicago well, and kind of just hurts his development as they go. To me, it's both. It's coaching is bad play calling, but there's times Fields has guys wide open and he's not pulling the trigger. So I don't know, at that point now it's mental as well to get through this all. But man, this is not going to go good. And I feel for Bears fans, right? How long have they been waiting? They think they finally got a guy again for what, the 50th time?
That was funny, that video that you sent me. Just throw the ball. Mind you, the receiver on the top corner was not shown. We don't know what his progressions are. And there's also a defensive back behind him and in front of him when he came down to that read. So just settle down, some of these fans, man. We don't see what's going on with his progressions fully.
But with all 22 now, you can see a lot. And yes, bad play calling, but there is also plays that I've seen pictures and videos of.
Against Tampa Bay, there's one.
Yeah, that guys are wide open, right?
Down the seam.
Yeah, so it's just that. But I mean, quarterbacks, a lot of it's mental, right? If you're mentally done, it's going to be hard to pull a trigger at any point in a game and make those plays.
Especially if you don't trust your O-line.
No.
You got happy feet all the time.
Obviously, he doesn't trust his coaches either.
Oh, my
He just chucked them under the bus, basically. So,
get him
Bears.
out.
Sorry, Bears.
Free Justin Fields. Hashtag free Justin Fields. Hashtag Ray Banks.
Where do you want him to go? Where do you want him to go?
Am I allowed to say Pittsburgh?
You could. You don't like Kenny Pickett anymore?
Anymore?
I thought maybe you became enamored with him last season when he was actually looking good.
I was cheering for him because he's the quarterback that I have. If you would have asked me straight up, is he the quarterback of the future? Oh, man. Not after that year. Give me a break.
We'll have to go back through the video and see.
Of course I have to cheer him on. Jeez. I'm going to be a sour guy and say, oh, they're winning, but hey, he sucks. Nah.
I said that about Jimmy Garoppolo after a while.
Oh, my God.
He had a rough outing there last week.
They very might well be of the same caliber quarterback. Pickett and Garoppolo, same class. Hey, maybe the Steelers can win a Super Bowl with that crazy defense when scoring all the points on the. Don't even get me started. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends? Jeez.
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Again, thank you, Fahrenheit Airbrushing, for sponsoring the Jets Talk. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, and have a good week.
And in the famous words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Denny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.